I did not wake up one morning and suddenly feel weak. It didn't happen like that. There was no dramatic moment, no sharp pain. It was quieter, subtle, almost polite, the kind of change you don't argue with. You simply accept. First, it was the stairs. I noticed I was holding the railing tighter, not because I had to, but because it felt safer. Then it was getting out of the car. That small push upward felt heavier. Then standing up from my favorite chair by the window, I began using the armrest, then both hands, and I told myself something that sounded reasonable. I guess this is just getting older. I wasn't angry. I didn't feel sorry for myself. I just accepted it, like gray hair or reading glasses. But here's what I didn't realize. Acceptance can slowly turn into surrender, and surrender is quiet. It reduces your world without announcing itself. I stopped taking the longer walk. I carried groceries in 2 trips. I chose chairs carefully, always sturdy, always safe. I thought I was being smart, but I was adapting downward. At 72, I believed strength had an expiration date. That decline was natural, expected. But one afternoon I stood up from that chair and felt a brief moment of instability, not falling, just uncertain. And in that half second I felt fragile. I didn't like that word, because fragility threatens independence. So I asked myself a simple question. Is this inevitable? Or is this adaptation? Aging is inevitable, but adaptation can move in 2 directions, toward strength or toward weakness. And I realized my habits were guiding me toward weakness, not dramatically, just consistently. So I didn't join a gym. I didn't chase intense workouts. I removed what was quietly making me weaker. The first was stillness, not rest. Stillness. Long hours of sitting, morning to afternoon, afternoon to evening, and my body adapted perfectly to sitting. Muscles respond to demand. If you demand sitting, they get good at sitting. So I interrupted it. Every 30 minutes I stood up. Sometimes I walked across the room. Sometimes I did 10 slow sit-to-stands. Nothing intense, just consistent. Within weeks, standing felt smoother. The stiffness reduced. The hesitation shortened. The strength hadn't vanished. It had simply gone unused. Then I adjusted something else. Convenience. My meals had become simple. Too simple. After 70, muscle needs support. So I added protein. Eggs. Yogurt. Beans. Fish or chicken. No extreme diet. Just intention. Within a couple of months, my legs felt more reliable. Not bigger, just capable. Then I worked on balance. Standing on one foot, walking heel to toe, rising from a chair without my hands. First I wobbled, but within weeks I felt steadier. Stability improved posture. Posture improved confidence. Confidence improved movement. And movement protects independence. But the most powerful shift was verbal. I stopped saying, "It's just old age," and started saying, "Let me test that." Instead of assuming weakness, I gently challenged it. 3 months later, I stood up without pushing off, climbed stairs without pausing, carried groceries in 1 trip again, not to prove anything, but because I could. And I realized something profound. My legs were not finished. They were waiting. Waiting for demand. Waiting for fuel. Waiting for practice. Waiting for belief. Aging did not remove my strength. Inattention did. And attention restored it. If you're over 60 or over 70 and you feel weakness creeping in, pause before you assume decline. Ask yourself, is this aging or is this neglect? Because the body remains responsive. Even in your 70s, even in your 80s, strength after 70 is not loud. It is steady. It is built in minutes, not marathons. In repetition, not intensity. Aging is certain, But unnecessary weakness is negotiable, and that realization is freeing. There is something interesting about rebuilding strength after 70. It does not feel dramatic. No music swells. No one claps. No one even notices. But you notice, and that is enough. After I stopped sitting for hours, after I fueled my body properly, after I practiced balance in small, quiet ways, I did not suddenly feel young. I felt steady, and steadiness is underrated. When you are young, you chase energy. When you are older, you value reliability. Reliability means your legs respond when you ask them to. It means your body cooperates instead of hesitates. And that cooperation builds trust. One rainy afternoon, I carried groceries up a slightly slick driveway. Months earlier, I would have moved cautiously, carefully, almost fearfully. But that day, I walked normally, not recklessly, just normally. Halfway to the door, I realized something. I wasn't thinking about my legs. I wasn't calculating each step. I was simply moving. That absence of hesitation was new. Strength is not only muscle. It is freedom from constant monitoring. It is focusing on life instead of balance. Independence lives in ordinary moments. In groceries, in stairs, in stepping off a curb, in getting up from the floor. And something else shifted. My posture. My shoulders relaxed. My steps lengthened. People treated me differently. Not carefully. Normally. And normal treatment is dignity. Here is what matters most. I did not increase intensity. I increased consistency. After 70, the body responds beautifully to repetition. Small movements. Done daily. 10 sit-to-stands in the morning. A short walk after lunch. Balance while brushing your teeth. Simple things. Together they are powerful. Muscle loss after 60 is real. But it accelerates when unused. Slows when challenged. Even gently. Effort does not have to be extreme. It has to be sustainable. If you cannot imagine doing it next month, it will not protect you next year. Strength after 70 is not linear. There will be stiff mornings, low energy days, weeks when motivation dips. That is not failure. That is fluctuation. Reduce the effort if needed, but do not stop completely. Small action maintains identity, and identity protects consistency. You are not rebuilding strength to impress anyone. You are protecting choice. Choice to travel. Choice to live independently. Choice to say yes. Choice to recover from a stumble. Choice is dignity, and dignity is worth protecting. Avoiding movement does not prevent falls. Prepared movement does. Stronger legs reduce risk. Practice balance reduces risk. Confidence reduces hesitation. Movement is not the enemy. Unprepared movement is. So prepare. Gently. Daily. Patiently. One afternoon, a grandchild ran toward me and said, "Come on." Months earlier, I would have stayed near the railing. But that day, I stepped into the yard. Uneven grass. Soft ground. No hesitation. I wasn't proving anything. I was participating. And that is the gift of strength after 70. Participation. Not performance. Participation. I did not reverse aging. I respected it. I removed stillness. I fueled properly. I practiced balance. I changed my language. And slowly, my body responded. If you feel weaker than you used to, do not panic. Do not assume it is over. Ask yourself, how long do I sit without standing? Am I supporting my muscles with enough protein? When did I last practice balance? What am I telling myself about my age? Change one thing. Just one. Stand more often. Add protein. Practice 10 seconds of balance. Replace "I'm too old" with "let me try." Small adjustments. Repeated daily. Protect independence. You are not fragile by default. You become fragile through neglect. And neglect can be reversed. Gently, patiently, consistently. Your body is still listening. Question is, what are you asking of it? Start small. Stay steady. Protect your independence. And let strength return quietly, because it can, and it will, if you invite it. And if this message helped you, and you want more practical guidance for staying strong and independent after 60, subscribe to Vita Signal 60, because aging is certain, but unnecessary weakness doesn't have to be.